Yeah, so I think it was Mitcha who was asking the question. Again, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Why did the strong high hold? I mean the Asia high hold, and you're expecting these to get taken out. It's completely valid that you think that, right? But just because they're equal highs, it doesn't mean they're gonna get taken out right now at that time. So if you look at the bigger picture, start from the higher time frame. So where's price coming from, right? So it's coming from this unmitigated away, which is at 1 hour, I think 4-hour time frame. Yeah, it is 1 hour, 4 hour. We got a breaker structure of this actual swing point because it did something. It's the actual valid swing point at the breaker structure right here. So the price took out liquidity right there. And like I mentioned on the first Zoom, everything has to make sense. It has to be put together. So now that we understood what happened on the left side, now we focus on the right side. So we have to understand what happened before, and then obviously what's going on right now. So now that we have this picture in mind, I think by now it should make sense why the Asia strong high holded. Or do you still want me to explain it? Oh, you can talk or type. I know, like, so do you want me to go over it, or do you now understand why why the strong high? Explain further to the entry point. Right. To the entry point of entry on the Asia high. Well, we wouldn't enter on the Asia high because we shouldn't be trading Asia at all. But if you were gonna take Asia, then I mean, this is how you would have taken it. Get into the POI, go to the 5-minute. You have your obvious break right here. Break structure right there. So high. And then you got to push down, you got a retracement, breaker structure once again. So now you have your low right there. Now, like I mentioned on the first Zoom, it is nothing wrong with you taking this first retracement. So without hindsight, this is what you would see, right? You would see this first. So you would take this first. You will exit here. If you hold this position, right, not only because you're at a very low level, as we want price to come up here into the premium, and you're still in discount. If you take this trade, you're going to exit here because you're going to exit at the exchange liquidity. So then you exit right there, right? So now this is going to become liquidity on the bigger picture, on the bigger scale, because now it looks like this. Now this becomes liquidity. And then once that breaks the low, gets taken, come to the POI, look for shorts in here, confirmation entry. Let's see if we can find a 1 minute. So we have on liquidity. I don't see no breaker structure here on the 1 minute, but for sure in the seconds, in this area, you could ensure here, but that's fine. Let's say we didn't catch that. And then obviously we have the major break. All right. So seconds time from entries would have been here. Then the other one would have been somewhere in here. So following order flow. Now this is important again to understand. All right, just because it's a 1 minute or the seconds time frame, it doesn't change nothing. All right, if this was the 4-hour or the daily time frame, we will all choose this POI right here, right there. Okay, follow an order flow. So let's say it broke a daily low, and this is 4-hour structure. And that was a daily low, 4-hour structure coming from a weekly POI. We would just take that short there. Okay, because we treat them the same way. Don't let it just get to your head because it's the 1 minute or the 5 minute. Now, sure, depending on where you're coming from. So then final order flow, strong high, took a liquidity right there, then the low. Then if you took the short, you can exit here at this low. And that short could have been taken on the second time frame also. You went to the second time frame because that's your current range. Now, let's say you take that short, then price doesn't break that low, then it comes up and it takes out the high, then it drops. That would just be the bigger picture. And that's it. But regardless, you would have either taken partials here or you would have exited. Or if not, then you would have got break even if you didn't take no partials there. So that would be your short because that's what's currently, PA is showing you. And then what happens? And then price six got the low. So that's how you would take me short from the area. I wouldn't trade. Yeah, I wouldn't trade Asia either. I don't trade Asia.
What's the problem with trading Asia?
Well, for me, it's simply my experience in backtesting. So Asia will build up the data that you need to see what's going to happen during London and New York. But that's just me though. And during Asia, it's nighttime also. So yeah, that's just nighttime for me.
Yo, Brian.
Yeah.
Can we go over a trade I took?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just read the chat real quick.
Okay.
Can you show the internal and break on the chart and why it's valid? Yeah, well, that's what I just showed on the right here on the 1 minute. Right. If you have the right POI and you have the right range, it's just gonna go. It's just gonna flow like water.
Brian, I have a question. Can I ask the question?
Yeah.
Can you please explain to me very? I want to understand it when it comes after Asia is finished. I do get confused which liquidity is likely to be taken out and where should I find my point of interest, because I always get confused after Asia is finished. Because most of your videos you explain that we should look at the Asia lows and the Asia highs. So I get a bit confused after the Asia is the session is done, and for me now to look for point of interest to take my entries.
There, you just joined the Zoom call?
Yeah, I just joined it now. Yeah, I came in a bit late.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I already covered that, but I'll explain to you. So when I say Asia high and Asia low, right, there's liquidity above and below. We know that, but we cannot use no topic, no concept by itself. You cannot use a POI logic by itself. You cannot use Asia session logic by itself. You cannot use the range logic by itself. You have to combine everything together, right? Now, why wouldn't we expect this Asia high to get taken? Because look at where we're coming from. Look at the range. The range I already took out is internal range liquidity. So the next target is the external range liquidity, which lines up with what? Asia low. So we have external range liquidity in alignment with Asia low, which is session liquidity, right? So I expect that low to get taken. Asia low, external liquidity. Where is price coming from? So we go to the bigger picture. It's coming from a 1 hour and 4 hour POI, which is a 1 hour, 4 hour range. That's the bigger range. So we put everything together. We don't just say Asia this and Asia that. No, we got to combine that together and know where price is coming from. So once you combine everything together and you know what happened on the left side, then we focus on the right side. So we let Asia finish, and we have to understand, where did Asia come into? What did Asia do? And then we focus on anything after Asia. And then that's where we look for trades, right? So you're not just going to look for liquidity above and below by itself. You have to combine it together. So that's one example. If you go right here, so that's a high, that's a low. Asia came in to fill this right here, came in to fill that. So that's the high, that's the low. Your target for this current range in here is going to be this low down here. So Asia already did that. Asia itself already fulfilled this overall range. So that's done. All right, cool. Then Asia ends right here. So Asia ended right here at this current low, but I can't say, all right, just because Asia ended here, for example, I'm gonna expect, price to just go from this wick right here. Just say it's gonna fly. No, we gotta understand where we're at overall. So we got Asia, we have inducement, and then we have the unmitigated. This was a 4 hour unmitigated wick, which is in alignment with all of this liquidity build up. So we have Asia session, we have the inducement, or liquidity, and then the 4 hour unmitigated wick. And then that just confluence, and it gets taken, and then obviously it goes to the upside, putting everything together. So we go to the, I think it was 4 hour unmitigated wick, if that was a 1 hour. Oh no, it was. So it was a 4 hour unmitigated wick. So we have the wick right there, had the liquidity, and I think in the 1 hour you get a better view. There's a wick there too, and in that wick, obviously there's an order block. Yeah, there's a wick right there again. So expect this to get taken. Asia session. So this just builds more confluence to take this low out and come into this block here. So we can't use it by itself. It has to be in alignment with everything. Now, the reason I chose this as a liquidity point is the same reason as we understand our T1. So what do we have? So we had a breaker structure. Now the breaker structure happened very early. So we had the breaker structure on the lower time frame, retracement, and breaker structure once again. I think it was the 15-minute, I'm not wrong. Breaker structure once again on the major scale, right there. Breaker structure, retracement, breaker structure once again. Now that we took out a major structure point, this is going to become now what? In other words, a trap right there. Liquidity, close POI is this unmitigated wick. We mitigated the open, so we can expect the 50% to get mitigated. And that will be, if you're looking for direct entry, you enter here. If not, wait for confirmation and take the trade to the upside. But as Asia, T1 formation, combine everything together, take the long. Here we had Asia low with a T1 formation, external liquidity. So everything was put together. And yes, it is a lot. It is a lot to keep in the back of your head, but trust me, it's much more simple than everything else out there. But did that make sense? Or not?
Yeah. Now, I'm getting a clue. Thanks so much.
Okay. So who's the person I want to share the screen?
Oh, that's me. Yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Yeah, let me get permission. It was Aaron, right? Or Aaron?
Yeah, AAR1.
Okay. Oh, I'm just